I do feel represented, but I feel like it's because of the students. Like, I feel like the students have created organizations and dance teams, for example, that kind of represent our culture and like the art that we can produce and like everything that we're about. But I don't feel like I would necessarily feel that way unless the students stepped up and took the initiative to kind of represent our community.
Well, coming from an HBCU, which, if you don't know, is an all-black college, I do feel represented in some ways, but there are definitely more ways that I feel like someone who looks like me can feel more comfortable and represented here at SCAD. Some ways I do feel represented. Having professors or people who have been in the industry that look like me is definitely a plus coming here.
I do feel represented because the people in this community work so hard for us to be represented.
Yeah.
So I feel like because of our hard work, it makes me feel seen, and that really comes through.
Barely, I'm gonna be honest.
Barely.
Yeah. It's like they try, but it doesn't really show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest. There's I think a majority of students are international, so I will say they've done their job of trying to get other cultures in.
Yeah.
When I'm in a room, when it comes to my major, I'm around one male and white male. And I'm usually the only black girl or only black person in my class. And I think even down to like the topics that I spoke about in my major, it's not very broad. It's not very there's a word I'm trying to diverse, eclectic, like, and it makes you feel like when it comes down to the opportunities, like, okay, so based off of how that looks and how that's going in that environment, it's like I don't even think there's anything created out there already for me to be a part of, or that's trying to reach out for somebody like me. And so I felt like so far we've been creating those opportunities for ourselves, or having to push.
SCAD as far as the school, yes, I think that students sometimes can have their biases and want certain people and certain things. So I think that inclusivity in like projects and like student run type of things would be great, but I think that the school overall does a pretty good job.
Being on first mainstay production Black, that was last year in spring quarter, was actually very eye-opening to me because it was actually a topic that we're talking about now, and how we are seen or deemed as less. And putting such a main stage production, it was very risky, and I understand being in a PWI school, but it was genuinely something that we needed to discuss because the way it was seemed like such a small production, but I really wish it was bigger because the message behind that was so powerful. And having an all main stage Black production is not a thing that happens here every day, and I genuinely wish that could happen because I'm pretty sure there are so many people who just want to grab and grasp it as they run for that opportunity. So.
But I think they're doing a really good job at, allowing having clubs like ASA, Nectar, like having a huge concert purely dedicated to the Black students of the school and it's a really big deal. I just feel like BAM is a really great example how they're putting us, they're giving us sort of time to shine.
I think also whoever is in charge or in these positions to make change need to have people of color or Black people in those positions to even do that for people like us. The main thing is, again, diversity, like actual actual diversity with people who can make those types of changes, or like have have a voice in those rooms to be like, hey, what about us? Like, let's try to create something for us. So I think there's a lot of changes that should be made.
I think just like having an open mind and really being open to listening to our input and actually doing something about it. There's a difference between like
listening and actually really hearing. Because like you can say like, oh, like you can come and talk to us, but it doesn't mean anything unless you do something about it.
I feel like a lot of it is more than like advertisements. It's more of just like, do we have certain councils and stuff? Because there has been problems other than like along with people of color, but other marginalized groups that either professors or other teachers have had that SCAD is kind of pushed under the rug. And it's more of like, do we have a council or something a little more student-led that's accountable for it?
Okay.
I just feel like once there's more cultures that come into different departments and make it equal, that's when really everything will be equal. Different people of different cultures tell different stories. And when you have more people representing one culture or the other culture, those actors in that culture are able to show, or those dancers in that culture are able to show, or those singers in that culture are able to show, because we don't all sing the same things. We don't all tell the same stories, and yeah. If you are someone not of color and recognize those things, be the advocate. Be the person that has things for everybody to be in. Or if you see something that's not right, or you see people stereotyping people just because of who they are, just be the person to say something. You don't have to be of color to help the entire situation that we go through.
At this point, we're gonna have to create our own opportunities and spaces, because that's the power that we have, and that's how we have to use it, unfortunately. And fortunate at the same time. But yeah, I say like keep being strong, keep doing what you're doing, keep showing out and showing your abilities, because you are that the girl or boy or whoever you are.